Ladies and gentlemen, Haunted America is back for another episode of some of the most chilling stories you've ever heard.
Maybe it's the ghost of the last kid who lived here.
My immediate thought is this jail has to be on an old Native American land.
And then one of the doctors thought it would be good for patient morale not to let patients see all the people that were dying.
Everyone got real quiet. Even the guy singing karaoke stops, lays down the mic. My cousin goes as white as a new cotton t-shirt.
Haunted America is the most professional horror podcast there is.
Yep, we're drawing blanks.
Yep.
Yeah, what a podcast.
Yeah, thank you. We're professional ghost hunters, people.
So join along for the laughs.
When I finished my job at the bathroom, God, what is...
I love Reddit stories.
But stay for the horror and bone-chilling words they speak.
As I turned the corner and approached the house, I sensed something strange in the air.
Haunted locations, ghost stories. This is Haunted America. Yes, welcome to another episode of Haunted America.
What are you doing? You're just the intro guy. Get off, leave. You can leave. We have Alba Panuco's story to read on the show today. You're not supposed to be here. This is me and Jess. We have to read her email. She sent us a story to read out loud on the podcast.
Get him in here then. Why am I
All right, so
still
get out. Ladies and gentlemen, today on the show, we have an email sent into us from Alba Panunco. Panunco? I apologize if I am totally butchering your name.
Panuco.
Panuco.
Alba Panuco.
Let's get right into it. Hello. First, let me give you some background on my childhood home. It was built in the 1950s, and my parents purchased it in the 90s. When we started to remodel, we found some interesting things. It had a yellow wallpaper with brown linear patterns that reminded me of an old hotel. Under the wallpaper was drawings and writings that looked like they were done by a child. We found the words demon, demonic, and hell on the walls that were covered by the wallpaper. It has a built-in pool that starts at 3 feet and then goes down to 12 feet and back up to 9, which was odd for older homes in the area. There is a gated walkway leading from the front of the house to the backyard. Along that walkway, there were 4 big trees, and around each tree was a necklace that had different names on them. Possible memorials? They had been there a long time because the tree had started to grow around the necklaces. About a month after we moved in, we were told a story by the neighbors of a child that drowned in the pool. But when the police showed up, there was no sign of the little boy or his parents. Very weird. It looked like they just got up and left abruptly. We did find an article about this story, but with no witnesses, there was little information. It states that the family just disappeared, leaving behind all their belongings, and no one knew if the boy died, or if the parents were able to revive him through CPR, or if it even happened. Growing up in this house, I always felt like something was following me or watching me. At times, I would see fuzzy black orbs glide across the ceiling and saw shadows from the corner of my eye. Okay, now on to one of my stories.
There's a door that leads out of the kitchen to the walkway I mentioned above. Well, my mom hated us going there, so she placed a round dinner table to block the door. 2 of my sisters and I were playing cards, and it was about 11:30 p.m. My parents were asleep, and as far as we knew, my siblings were out. The 3 of us sat at the round table, and me, being the smallest, I crawled under to sit at the chair with the back to the door leading out. Suddenly, we heard knocking on the door, and it was loud and could be considered banging. Instantly, we all jumped, and my sisters ran toward the fridge, leaving me stuck. I pushed the table a little and crawled under to be with my sisters. We all stood there staring at the door. Then we heard it again. I looked at my sisters and said, "It's probably Juan," one of our older brothers, trying to scare us. So we came up with a plan to scare him. We quietly moved the table out of the way and unlocked the door. the plan was to open it quickly when he knocked again and yell. So we waited a few seconds, and as soon as we heard the knock, I opened the door to scare him. We didn't yell. We stood there in shock as we saw a white mist forming the body of an adult male, then dissipated. I closed the door, looked at my sisters, and asked if they saw the mist too. They both nodded in agreement. We locked the door and put the table back. When we heard rustling in the living room, we screamed and looked over to see my brother Juan asleep in his sleeping bag. No one woke up from our yells, not our brother and not our parents. The next morning, we asked our brother about it, and he said he never went out because he wasn't feeling good, and he never heard our screams. How did he not hear us? How did we not wake anyone up? This is one of the many stories I have from my childhood home. My parents still own the house and live there along with my sister and nephew. Wow.
First of all, I would appreciate it if you would email us again with more stories from this house.
Yeah.
Because it seems like there could be a lot happening.
Yeah.
You definitely have spirits in there that are okay with causing a ruckus and manifesting themselves in front of you guys. Do your parents ever experience anything? You said they still own the house and live there along with your sister and nephew.
Right.
I would ask them if they still experience stuff like this. And I believe you said somewhere in here that your mom kept a table to block the door. There's a door that leads out the kitchen to the walkway I mentioned above. My mom hated us going through here, so she placed a round dinner table to block the door. Did your mom see stuff there, and that's why she didn't want you guys going through there? Or
I was going to say, why was she so adamant about them not going there?
I think your mom might know a little bit about what's going on in this house.
I mean, the background of the story was a story in itself. Like that was crazy.
The child in the pool and then everybody just disappearing out of nowhere.
They just disappeared, and the necklaces around the tree.
Yeah, when I was reading that threw me off because
they've just been.
I had to do a double take. Necklaces.
The necklaces have been there so long the tree grew around it. Like what?
In the news article, I have so many questions. In the news article, is there mention of the names of the people?
Right.
Can you match the names in the news article to the names on the necklaces around the tree? There's a lot here to try to uncover. So let's jump to this. Hearing the knocks and then opening the door to see a white mist appearing and then dissipating.
Yeah.
And she had to have seen it clear enough because it was mentioned being the body of an adult male.
Right.
Did you see facial features, or could you just feel in that moment like the energy that the spirit was giving off was that of a male?
Right.
You know?
And the fact that they all yelled and nobody in the house heard it, the brother was in the next room sleeping. Right. And
it's almost like that experience was in its own little space and time that nobody else could like interfere in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that was just them and the spirit all at one time with nobody else around, nobody else being able to hear anything.
Wow.
This is a very interesting story.
I'm going to say this is better than any of the Reddit stories we've read.
Yeah. This is a very well-written, intriguing story that I would like to hear more of.
So, Alba, send us more. I want more stories. Talk to your parents, talk to your sister and your nephew. We want to hear more.
I would love to hear more stories from this house. If you guys have any stories that you would like to send us and have read out loud and discussed on the podcast, email us at hauntedamericapodcast@gmail.com. And we'll get back to you guys whenever we can and let you know when we're going to sit down and record and put the episode out with your story in it. Until then, I am Dalton Taylor.
And I'm Jess Trapasso.
And this has been another episode of
Haunted America.